My next guest is a radio legend in Philadelphia, and if you don't think so, he'd probably call you a nitwit or a moron, and that's Howard Eskin from WIP and Fox 29 TV. Howard, Zach Gelb here, Temple Sports Hour. How are you?
I'm just absolutely sensational. I don't know that I would call myself a legend. I don't know if I would call anybody a nitwit for that, but because then they would be correct, so they wouldn't be a nitwit. But no, I'm only kidding. It's just whatever people want to determine that I've done in the career that I've had here in Philadelphia. Hey, everybody's got an opinion, don't they, Zach?
I'll say it again. You're a radio legend in this town. You've always been good to me down at Radio Row for the Super Bowls. I'm just wondering, what made you so successful for a plethora of years in this town?
You know, I think it's simple, but it's not what everybody does. It's hard work. You just have to be there. To work at it, and I think in our world, whatever it is that you might want to do, whether it's this business, whether it's another business, if you work hard, you are steps ahead of a lot of people who in this country don't push it the way they should. So if there's any one thing that I would, there'd be two things, hard work and responsibility, but they're one and the same. Now that sounds kind of boring, but it's not a hard thing to do. It's a desire that people should have. So, and I have fun doing it. If you don't have fun doing what you're doing, then you're not trying hard enough. And not everybody has fun every day. I don't have fun every day. You don't have fun every day. Some days it's actually harder work, but that's all right because that's all part of what we do. So hard work and responsibility, if there's two things that I would look at.
And that's what people don't understand, because people in this industry, they'll see Howard Eskin's on from 3 to 7, and they'll be like, oh, that's only it. He only works that many hours in a day. But people don't understand. This is a 24/7 job. The minute you're off the air, you're thinking, who can I get for my next show? What big sports story do I have to watch?
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. Your mind's always working. For instance, right now, the Denver Nuggets have a shoot-around at the Wells Fargo, and after the shoot-around, you know, there's a couple of guys on the team, and obviously one of them is Andre Iguodala. I'm going to talk to him. Do I need to go there? Nope. I'll probably be there tonight to do my TV sportscast on Fox 29, but that's all part of it. It's part of a little extra that people should do. So, I mean, that's kind of what my day is, just filled with different things to do, and I'm happy and I want to do them.
What's been the best event that you've covered in the history of your career here in the Philadelphia area through WIP?
Well, it's probably not just one event, because obviously it has to be the World Series in 1980 was the one that I had more fun at, because it was my first one. It was the first one that I covered. It was a bunch of Hall of Famers on that team. It was a bunch of different kind of characters, I'd have to say, characters in a different kind of way. I had fun with Bo. I had fun with Schmidt. I had fun with Greg Lazinski. Steve Carlton, actually, even though he didn't talk to the media, we have always spoken. So that was big. The Super Bowl, there were two Super Bowls, and they didn't win either one of them. The one in the 80 season and then the one in the 2004. But so I'd have to say those. The NBA championship, when the Sixers won, was fun. Even the one they lost was fun. Even though they lost it in the early 2000s with Larry Brown and Allen Iverson. So, and then Stanley Cup, I've never covered it. Actually, I've covered a Stanley Cup final, but not where the Flyers have won, because I wasn't in the business at that time. So I would say I'd probably have to go Super Bowl, World Series, or Tigers at number one. And there's other events that I've gone to. I've gone to 30 Super Bowls, but obviously the Eagles aren't in most of those. But the big events, and then there's games that are really a lot of fun. Playoff games for the Eagles, playoff games for the Sixers. As many years as I've been doing this, there's not just one event, but there are a lot of events. I mean, I even enjoyed having dinner with President Clinton, so that's not even a sporting event. Playing golf with different people, Michael Jordan, who is cheap, but still, nonetheless, it was fun playing golf with him. It's fun playing golf with Charles Barkley when he actually didn't have all those problems playing golf. So there's a lot of different things.
Who has a better swing, you or Charles?
Well, Charles' swing is just, now it's just terrible. It's kind of insane. Well, he'll never beat me. He's never beaten me, and he never will. So let's just leave it at that.
Your son does a phenomenal job now. I hear him do the DJ work and the sports talk as well. I was also, my dad was in radio as well, as you know, working at WFAN.
Yep.
You worked at WIP. I grew an interest in radio. Why do you think your son grew an interest in radio?
I don't know, because I had nothing to do with it. That was all him. It was he ended up going to Syracuse after he started his first year at USC. I don't know. I really. It's interesting. I've never asked him. Maybe because he was around it. Obviously, when you grow up in a household, even though at school when he was younger, he got tortured by the kids because of the things that I said on the air. So in that way, I'm a little surprised that he did go that direction. But he's done a lot of things in radio, which is another thing that people have to do. You just can't pinpoint one area and say that's what I want to do. There's so many other things that you have to do, which he did, whether it be an intern, whether it be in promotion departments, whatever it is. So it was his call. That wasn't my call. Maybe just because he grew up in the environment.
I'm just curious, did you ever mention these words to your son? You don't want to get into this industry? Because that's what my dad always told me growing up.
You know what? It wasn't as bad when he got into it as it is now, because the economy has changed so many things. It's really tough. You can't worry about how much you make, and that's, kids and guys starting in the business and women starting in the business don't want to hear that, but you gotta pay attention to it. It's a different kind of business now. There's a lot of, I don't say there's a lot of pressure, but there's pressures. There's no money in it, but it's fun, and, the rewards are, if you become successful, and there are people that do, if you become successful, it's just the sense of accomplishment that you have. But it's clearly a tougher business now than it was before. My son recognizes it now, but luckily he had already been in it for a while to get through the tough early stages of the business. But no, I never, to answer that question, never did say that to him.
We're talking to Howard Eskin, WIP legend, and the Eagles sideline reporters for those broadcasts with Mike Quick and Merrill Reese. Then, Howard, let's get to the football team right now. How tight of a leash is on Michael Vick?
Well, Andy Reid just decided, he made it public, that Michael Vick will start against New Orleans. It's close. They had discussions after the game on Sunday. They had discussions in the offices on Monday with the coaches. It was real close. And I thought it was closer. I said it was close. My opinion, and that's what people like to point out if they think I'm wrong. Well, my opinion was I thought that he would go to Nick Foles. My reporting was not incorrect. I reported that they met, they were close. It's not going to happen, but you can't go much longer if he's not going to get better with the things that he does. He still makes the wrong play calls when he gets to the line of scrimmage when that's necessary. I did it twice in the game against Atlanta. It's close, but obviously by Andy Reid making this decision now, he's going to sink or swim with Michael Vick. And, Michael Vick is tied to his future here in Philadelphia as well. So is there a tight leash? And I would say, if I had to say yes, but in reality, I think Andy Reid's just going to keep on going with him until he thinks there really is a point of no return for the season or for Michael Vick.
If things do go south and they do bring in Nick Foles, what does he bring to the table as a starting quarterback?
Well, he understands what the defense is. He can read a defense. He doesn't hold the ball too long. He does things that a quarterback needs to do. Yeah, can he run? No, but he's always got his eyes down the field. When Michael Vick runs, he doesn't always have his eyes down the field. Nick Foles does. He understands the offense. Now, granted, he's a rookie, and I can't remember the last rookie, if there ever has been one, quarterback, that has taken his team to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't think that's where the Eagles are going to go this year, looking at this team, but that's part of it. It's just being a quarterback is important, and that's what Nick Foles is. But he's young, and obviously he needs some experience. I think Nick Foles will be the quarterback of this football team next year. I really do believe that.
So you're saying Michael Vick will get cut with that option? I think that's a sure thing.
Yeah, I think it's it's almost 100%. I just can't see the Eagles bringing back Michael Vick for $20 million a year when they know in the last couple of years he really hasn't gotten better. And I think that's the problem.
So according to you think that Nick Foles will be the quarterback next year. Does that mean Andy Reid is back as head coach, or are they going to go a different direction?
Well, if the Eagles don't go deep into the playoffs, I just can't see. And I think Andy Reid would probably want to change, too. And that's all part of it. So Andy Reid would want to change, and so would the Eagles. And I think that's what happens.
We're talking to Howard Eskin, who does a phenomenal job on Fox 29 TV, WIP legend. And Howard, as you mentioned, you're going to be talking to Iguodala in a few minutes. Let's get to the Sixers right now as they open up tonight up against the Nuggets. How do you think Iguodala will be perceived by the fans as he makes his return tonight to the Wells Fargo Center?
Well, I think at least half of them will bill him. I think half of them will bill him, and that's what I think is going to happen. And the other half will cheer him because as much as he was not embraced by the fans, I was looking for the word, as much as he wasn't embraced by the fans, he still was a good player. His problem was he wasn't a franchise player, and because people look at the money he makes, that is the problem. When the fans look at Iguodala, you can't look at the money. You got to look at what he's done. He's not a bad player. Could he shoot? No, he couldn't really shoot that well when he was here. And there's a lot of things that he didn't do well, but he was their best player. So I think when it comes right down to it, there'll be some boos, and there'll probably be more boos than there should be, but there'll be some people out there that cheer. They're going to have, tonight they're going to have a 60-second video, which is to acknowledge the contributions that he made for the Sixers. So whether people cheer that or not, you know you're going to have some boos. That's just what Philadelphia is. But he did. He was a good player. He wasn't paid as much. He wasn't considered the best player on the team. People would look at him.
I think we lost Howard Eskin there, WHIP, Philly's #1 college radio station. It sounded like he was going down below, so we'll try to bring Howard back. Let's just take a quick break. We'll be back right in a few minutes. That's why I always like to get a guest in studio. Howard Eskin is back with us. Howard, you there?
I'm here. I got you.
You sound much better. So let's get back to Iguodala because we lost you halfway through that. How will the fans perceive him tonight at the stadium?
You know what? I just think there'll be more than a smattering of boos. But in the end, the people, he's not here. There's no reason to boo him, but you know there's going to be a smattering of boos, and the Sixers are going to have a 60-second video tribute to him. So maybe after that, they'll acknowledge that just because he got paid what he got paid doesn't mean that he's a bad player. It means he got paid too much money. But if he'll be good with a team where he doesn't have to be the star, and I think that's what's going to happen in Denver.
There's a big-time sense of exuberance with the Sixers team coming into this season with the success that they had last year going into the playoffs and winning the series. Andrew Bynum, he's not healthy right now. What's the latest status on the Sixers' big man?
Well, as I've been saying for weeks, and the Sixers have kind of denied it, Andrew Bynum's got a knee problem.
Big time.
It's worse than they thought it was. It's worse than they're telling the fans, and all they're saying is they're going to be cautious. Andrew Bynum, the problem is, it's not just that he's not going to play in the opener and maybe not play for a while. Is he going to have this injury throughout the season? Andrew Bynum is 24 years old. Think about that. 24 years old, and he's got knee problems. That's the problem. That's the problem.
It's been a chronic problem as well because you saw in L.A. he's never been able to play a full 82-game season and hasn't even been able to be close. Let's assume, though, that his knees do hang up and they are healthy, which I don't think they will be. I think this is a big-time mistake by the Sixers, but we'll see how this plays out. How do you sell Bynum to Philadelphia to make him resign?
Well, why do you want him to resign? If he's got a knee problem, why do you want him to resign? That's the problem. You re-sign him to a long-term contract knowing that at 24 years old he's got arthritis in a knee. That's a problem. That really is a problem. I don't know that you re-sign him. I think maybe you just might have to suck it up. You made a trade. It didn't work for you. And we'll see. It's going to be interesting how this all plays out, but there's no way I'd re-sign him until at least the end of the year.
How's the depth with this team at the center position?
I don't particularly care for it, to be honest with you. So it's just The depth. Do you like Spencer Hawes?
No, I don't.
Uh,
Lavoy Allen, a Temple guy, I like him because he went to Temple. Other than that, he's not a good basketball player.
He's a nice player. He's a nice player, but do you really? How's their depth? I'd rather have, in the end, when you look back at it, Bynum's better than Vucevic, but I liked Vucevic. I think he's going to be a nice player. Is he going to be a star? No, but they need other players. There's no question they need other players if Bynum is not going to be healthy, and that's something they got to worry about. Yeah.
Final one here as we're talking to Howard Eskin. Howard, thanks so much for coming on with us. By the way, Evan Turner, you look at him, it's his third year coming into the league. Is this the year he finally breaks out, or is there going to be some more struggles for the Sixers' second overall draft pick?
Evan Turner's got to be able to shoot. I don't know if he's a good enough shooter. Terrific guy. Obviously, he's a big guy. He can handle really well. He can get out on the break, but he can't shoot. And if you can't shoot, you're never going to be a star. I think Evan Turner is going to be a bench player. I just can't, somewhere along the line, maybe he's going to it's not figuring it out. It's just, it's something you have or you don't have. You can work on it, but he's got to be able to shoot better. And if he does, he's going to be a nice player. If he doesn't, he's going to be a bench player. And that's what it's going to come down to.
Howard, spectacular job. Thanks so much for coming on today. Appreciate the time. Let's get you on again real soon, my man.
Okay, Zach, you got it. Have a great day.